my personal opinion, and I think everybody who's been to Brazil can attest to this, Brazil has the best looking women in the world, in my opinion. There's gonna be a reckoning that's coming in the United States, bro. A reckoning. I'm thinking about moving back to the United States, man, getting me a Keisha. So a lot of guys who were passport bros was working remote or wanted to work remote. If you can work remote, an AI agent can probably do your job. We could talk about Austin. Mm-hmm. You keep talking about paying for box, man, you're gonna get ran out. They dumb. You got BMT in Thailand. I'm gonna stay in Brazil, the king of Brazil, you know what I mean?
Going to America. I want to talk about some of your experiences. Now, you've been to a bunch of countries. How many countries?
Want me to run it down? So,
yeah.
I don't remember how many countries I've been to, but I got my passport, my official passport, in 2011. My first international trip outside the country was in 2007. With the U.S. military, I went to Qatar. Right? That's not a tourist passport. That's an official passport. So I've been to, military-wise, I've been to Qatar multiple times. I've been to the United Arab Emirates. I've been to Afghanistan. I've been to Kuwait. I've been to Djibouti, Africa. I was stationed in Guam. You guys know about Guam, in the Guam days. I was stationed in South Korea for 2 years, stationed in England for 6 years, stationed in San Antonio for 7 years. Went all over Europe, pretty much went to every country except Croatia, like some of those countries in the south. Mm-hmm. And Portugal, haven't been to Portugal. Thailand, Philippines, Colombia multiple times, Brazil, obviously, I lived there, hitting up Buenos Aires soon. Mm-hmm. So a nice little gambit.
Okay. Now, you was the first one that I know of on YouTube that segmented your content to a certain audience, in particular black men. What made you decide to focus on the travel experiences on the black men? Because you have YouTube, you have videos that went like 1 million views. I think one of them was how they like black men in
Ukraine.
Yeah, Ukraine. And like, what made you decide to segment it to that particular audience?
It was partially subconscious. Partially it was the very first video that I ever did on YouTube that got 100,000 views was how do women in Guam treat black men? Guam. Mm-hmm. Because I remember that video too. Yeah, I left the United States and haven't moved back, by the way, in 2010. We're in 2025. That's 15 years ago. Right? I got to Guam. And I'm like, yo, this ain't like the sisters in the States. This is something totally different. They treating you nice, catering, kind of just like Asian women, just brown, you know what I mean? So I was getting 5-star treatment that I wasn't used to. So I'm thinking, my first mentality was always to put brothers on. I gotta talk about this. I gotta put the brothers on about Guam. So I created the video blew up. But that was before monetization. I didn't take YouTube serious, which is probably my biggest regret early in my career, is not taking YouTube serious. I stopped for like 6 years. So yeah, man, I believe that a lot of things that I do is not for money. I just want to put as many people on as possible. There's enough room for everybody. You got BMT in Thailand, Danny's in Thailand, Rashawn wants to be in Thailand. I'm gonna stay in Brazil, the king of Brazil. You know what I mean? You know, but there's room for everybody, man. I don't believe in gatekeeping traveling and brothers experiencing what I experienced.
Now, you've been in the beginning of this passport bro space, you know, guys traveling, but would you say it was the military early on that got you outside the United States? Is that the core reason of why you started traveling?
The number one reason why I started traveling, the number one reason why I started traveling was because I had a fixation on anime, Japanese anime. So the reason why I joined the Air Force was to get stationed in Japan.
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, I wanna get out of the house. I want to get stationed in Japan, you know, Japanese girls and anime and Dragon Ball Z and Street Fighter and Capcom, video game, nerdhead. I wanted to travel the world, get out. That's why I started traveling, and that's why I joined the Air Force. Fortunately, I didn't get that chance until 2010 when I got stationed at Guam to go overseas. So that's really where I started.
Okay. And speaking of Brazil, you know, I lived in Brazil for almost like 10 months and everything. Out of all the countries you've been to, why did you decide to bunker down and live in Brazil after your retirement from the military?
I'll be lying if I said it wasn't the women weren't part of it, because they are. My personal opinion, and I think everybody who's been to Brazil can attest to this, Brazil has the best looking women in the world, in my opinion. Some niggas will argue.
Over Colombia.
Colombia has a lot of plastic surgery, more than Brazil does. Would you agree?
I saw a lot of surgery in Brazil, but not as much as I saw in Colombia.
Yeah, so what breaks my heart really is that there's a lot of Colombian women who do not need surgery, and they get surgery and they fuck their shits up. Brazil has their own problems too, with the tattoos and shit. Tattoos that tarantulas on your neck, pentagram on your chest, crazy ass tattoos.
Working out too much, in my opinion.
Well, I think
the muscle. I'm talking about the muscle women. I don't like that.
That's not
shit.
from working out. That's from taking steroids.
Yeah, but that too. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I like Brazilian women the best. So that's part of the reason. I love the beach vibe. I like the difficulty of Brazil. So obviously, brothers can go in there, but they can't really dig deep. So what I find really is that a lot of brothers who go to Brazil, they all dealing with the same girls. They don't step out of the Copacabana bubble. And I'm like, nigga, you got Niterói, you got fucking.
I got so many stories to tell you about
North
that.
Zones.
I know dudes that have fallen out over
the local, like
certain types of girls,
like the
same joint. The girls at Maps, basically.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like,
easy to do.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is the same group of girls, and you have a city with millions, and it's just crazy how untapped these other parts are. Nobody being Campo Grande like that in the Campo. Nobody being Recreio like that either. So, I like the mystery of Brazil. It is kind of mysterious because of the language barrier. I like the fitness culture. I like this is a big deal for me. This is huge, and I know you guys don't like this, but the time zone is close to the United States Central. Like living in Thailand, that would be one of the biggest issues for me. Is the time zone difference. All my customers are in the United States, so I have to be up late, interacting with people, engaging with people, being involved, being active. So it can become. I guess I could get used to it. Definitely can work around it, but that's a struggle. So I would say this though. I would today I would not buy a property in Brazil. Would not do it.
Why not?
Because opportunity cost. I believe I would much rather buy a property in Tokyo, if possible, because in Tokyo you got a lot of foot traffic there. Family, you know what I'm saying? I'm a big amenities guy too. So you mentioned earlier, and I'll buy a property in Thailand before I do in Brazil as well, because I'm an amenities guy. right?
And the thing about Brazil, the infrastructure isn't the best.
Yeah, like, okay, you told me that you can't do 1 day, 2 day rentals. Okay, I can live with that. I paid $200,000 for this property, $250, cool. I can't rent it out. What do you do? But I got a hot tub and I got a cold plunge. I got a cinema. I got a Muay Thai boxing gym in this joint. What are we talking about? Underground cafe and all this type of special stuff. So when we talk about, hey, I'm gonna bring my family here. Hey, I'm gonna have a kid here. Hey, if I have a child, you can inherit this property in Thailand. I think that's a lot more powerful than what is offered in Brazil.
You know what? I do notice that like South America in general does have like a unique charm with the kind of like the dated infrastructure. I remember a friend of mine came from Florida to DR, and he was asking me and my friend. He was like, "Man, you like this dusty ass shit?" And I was like, "It's a little charm to it, you know. Like it's old, it's dated, but you could possibly get used to it at the same time." I'm Atlanta bougie, so I'm in Thailand with a super nice amenity apartment. So
they do.
I understand what you're saying.
So they have some, bro. You didn't see these, but in Ipanema, they're building some new condos that look fly. It's a company called Mozak, M-O-Z-A-K. They're building some fly ass spots in Ipanema and other parts. But even then, it's like, I would much rather get something here. Honestly, to tell you the truth, I would like to have like a little second life backup here. I got a nice condo with a crazy amounts of amenities, and I have an electric vehicle from China. You know what I'm saying? Like a little supercar. You know what I'm saying? BYD joint. So
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
BYDs, yeah.
So we're pulling up. So I like that a lot more. Brazil can make you a lot of money on content creation, by the way.
It really can. It really can.
That's another thing.
Yeah. A lot of guys haven't really just opened up Brazil. Maybe because it's maybe too dangerous. Maybe because it's the language barrier. But I mean, you got the Dunn Banks guy who kind of opened up, who's on your boat party. We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's like, and the women don't mind being on camera, but it might have been because some of the controversy with Austin out there.
See, we could talk about Austin. It is my personal opinion. He made a mistake, but he didn't really get in real trouble. The worst thing that really happened was he got a stain on his image. But when it comes to the Brazilian police and all that type of stuff, everybody then moved on from that. So it's really only American dudes. Man, you got ran out. It's like, nigga, nobody in Brazil cares. Everybody that moved on. And something that you would know about Brazil is that Brazilians I believe they have the highest engagement on social media than any other group. I'm telling you, bro. Like one of my boys on Instagram, he's a white guy and he speaks Portuguese and he goes around Brazil and gives his perspective. This dude gets like thousands of comments from Brazilians in like 10 minutes, and he only has 400,000 followers on Instagram, bro. And everybody knows they engage. So that's a positive and it's a negative. When you do something they don't like, they're gonna go crazy on the internet, and then that's what happened with Austin, is that they went nuts. And then a couple months later, everybody forgot about it.
Now, do you think it was because of Austin's race?
No.
Being black?
It had nothing to do with that. No, it was just, so the problem was the short form content. Because people will be saying all the time, you're going to get run out of Brazil, Scully. You keep talking about the pay for play. You keep talking about paying for box, man, you're going to get ran out. They dumb. But what really got him ran out. We call it wasn't really a run out, but kind of. It's short form content. If you have a piece of short form content that's inflammatory and it goes viral, that's every guy that gets in trouble in Brazil is because of a short form content, not on YouTube, because the Brazilians aren't on YouTube like that, but they're on Instagram and they're on on TikTok, and they're on Twitter, X. So if you say something stupid in short form, and then it goes viral in Brazil, then you're gonna have a problem. But the Brazilians aren't gonna sit and watch me talking on my couch for 20 minutes. They ain't gonna sit there and, talk, and listen to me talk about how I be folding up on the couch and I be putting them in the headlock and putting them in the tombstone. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, okay, we're gonna sit here and listen to this nigga for 20 minutes. Short form content is what that goes viral, is usually what catches guys. Unfortunately, he uploaded a video, went viral, and it got the attention. It's easy to clip, it's easy to download. So you try to take it down, it's too late. You know what I mean?
Now, I remember when I first got to Brazil in 2017, and the vibe was just real loose. You know, the women were very interested in Americans at that time. When I said, hey, I was American, that kind of like, you know, woke them up. A lot of wildness in Brazil. Then I realized when I moved to Brazil in 2022, I felt like it was a difference in the mentality of the woman. So they had like a massive feminist movement from 2017, or I think maybe around 2020, that feminism from America, the West, started to seep down in Brazil. From you living there, do you like recognize a lot of the same traits from American women to Brazilian women, as far as concerns with the feminism and the modern day women?
So I always say this about the feminist movement in Brazil. This is my opinion. If feminism in the United States is pneumonia, right? Very, very potent, very dangerous. The feminism in Brazil is a cough. It's there, it's present, but it's never gonna, in my opinion, it's never gonna take off in the same way as it is in the United States. Number one, unfortunately, like these, there has been feminists that have been taken out in Brazil. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's a takeout. And I don't agree with it, and it should not resort to violence, but they get taken out, number one. And number two, in order for feminism to thrive, you need to have finance. You need to have a finance backing for that, right? So part of the feminist movement in the United States is you got all these women that are making money, right? And then you go back, well, how are they making the money? Where they're going to college? Well, how are they going to college? Because the government is funding their education. You can literally be 18 years old and go $200,000 in debt and go get a degree that's most likely not worth nothing. You can't do that in Brazil. You got to pay cash, or your parents got to sign a loan for $18,000. So you got to have the financial backing. Financial backing gets them crazy. Oh, I got my degree. They rub it in your face, all that type of stuff. It's a lot more difficult. So me personally, right now, in Brazil, with the little ladies that I'm dealing with, I'm not catching the feminist vibe. I'll just say, generally speaking, in Rio, it's a different type of femininity versus an Asian woman. Because a lot of brothers haven't been to Thailand, walking down the street and just getting the exusion of femininity. You're not gonna get this anywhere else, nowhere in Brazil. Not even close.
Now, speaking of American women, do you still date American women, or are you just foreign women exclusively?
Honestly, to tell you the truth, I'm thinking about moving back to the United States, man, get me a Keisha.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Fuck it, weave. You know what I mean? A square back. You know what I mean? Just do it. Why Brazil? Go help the community. You know what I mean? Go back to the community, start a foundation, spend all my money, all my hard working money that I have invested since 2004. Fuck it. Right? Yeah, man. Square back.
Excellent.
No, but seriously, what was the question? What was the original question? No. So I have not. First of all of the chicks that I used to have a crush on in the United States, all of the chicks that I went to high school with that I was feeling, every single one of them, they're washed up, which is crazy. It's just a washout. Every single one. And it's phenomenal, bro. It's like, wait, man, every single chick that I used to have a crush on is trash now. So no, there's no going back.
Yeah.
I went to go visit my parents, visit my brother, visit my dad in Louisiana, but outside of that,
Did you think there would be so much backlash about the Passport Bros movement?
speaking of that, I'm gonna get to your question. You know, Danny knows, Rashawn knows, everybody knows I was literally one of the first people on YouTube, black guys on YouTube telling black men to travel, and I got so much hate. I got a lot of hate.
We all did.
He's like, what do you mean going overseas to meet a girl? You telling me you can't get a girl in the States, you must be a lame. Bro, all of that has gone away. Nobody is talking, that rhetoric is gone because people are saying just how bad it is in the United States. But anyway.
You got R&B singers now, like, what was it, Key Sweat?
Yeah, man, it's like.
And Medellin, you like,
Yeah.
Key Sweat and Medellin?
We ran into an R&B dude in Rio. Remember the R&B dude we saw at the spot? He had the meta glasses on.
Lucky Day.
Lucky Day. We ran into him in Rio
Okay.
a couple times.
Yeah. What was the question again? Something about passport.
Yeah,
bros.
the backlash of the massive backlash of the Passport Bros.
Well, see, the thing is, there's gonna be backlash, because there's nothing else they can do. Like, you can't force people to stay. People are gonna vote with their wallets. I think most guys who do travel, they go to Colombia, they go to Brazil, DR. Once you get a taste of that, or Asia, South America, once you get a taste of that, it's really kind of hard to go back. You know what I mean? You can't, take that away. So what's really gonna happen, man? To be honest with you, man, there's gonna be a reckoning that's coming in the United States, bro. A reckoning. A lot of people, especially a lot of women, are going to face a lot of hell, bro. With the advent of artificial intelligence, losing their jobs, not only have you become redundant in the workforce with your particular job, now you have a lot of men who don't want you. It's about to get real spooky, man, with what's happening in the United States, and it's like, it is what it is.
What would you recommend to a young guy, let's just say, fresh out of college, just not getting into his profession? What would be some steps he could take to live the lifestyle that you live overseas, basically?
If I was him, I would either join the Air Force, join the military, number one, or I would try to become an AI expert. Not computer science, not going to school to get a degree, like learning artificial intelligence, becoming a subject matter expert in niches within artificial intelligence, because that really and truly is the future. I'm talking understanding how to create LLM bots with bot press, coming up with customized, tailored agents for specific jobs. You got guys building large language models in-house for law firms. Like, getting really technical with that is what I would do if I was a young guy.
Okay. And we're going to go ahead and wrap up the interview, man. Give me your top 5 countries. I know Brazil is probably going to be number 1, but what are some other countries you would suggest?
Brazil, obviously. Spain. Gotta go to Spain. Is Japan top 5?
Yep.
Japan, Thailand, and either Colombia or the Philippines for number 5.
And what type of income you suggest monthly to be able to sustain overseas? Let's just say he goes out moderately.
I would say I would aim for at least 5,000. 5,000 a month. because that gives you a lot of leverage if you, in case you want to leave Thailand and go somewhere else. 5,000 a month. I'm bougie, if you didn't know already. And there's a lot of people who say, well, you know, Skylar, I heard that you were uppity or some shit like that. And I told them, it's like, that wasn't a rumor. You know what I'm saying? That shit's true. So 5,000, 10,000 leeway. You know what I mean? It's all about cushion. It's all about waking up and not having to think about money, because you know how stressful that can be. Invest early, as soon as you can, as soon as possible, as much as you can for as long as you can. S&P 500, NASDAQ, you know, Bitcoin, dollar cost averaging, all of that. Maintaining a small debt profile, all of those different things on top of building and scaling a business.
Now, weren't you against crypto at one point?
I was, and that's really the beauty of being an open-minded individual, right? So I was against crypto. You know what I'm saying? I was telling niggas like, hey man, you know, there's no intrinsic value in Bitcoin. But being able to pivot, that's what makes a person intelligent. Being able to say, hey, I was wrong because I got new information. Now we're gonna move this direction. You know what I mean? What set me off on Bitcoin was when Elon Musk started asking questions about it. And then when Elon Musk bought a bunch for Tesla, I went all in on it. So watching what the world's richest man does and copying some of the things he does has benefits.
Now, I read your book, man. It changed my financial outlook.
Okay.
You also recommended an app called Mint. I don't think Mint's around anymore. I use another app, but
what app do you use now?
I forgot the name of it, bro.
Is it Copilot? Is it
I don't know what it is. What is it? I got it on my phone. It's recording. But it's just like Mint though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they got I used to use Mint. Mint merged with Credit Karma. So now I do Copilot. Copilot is fire. And I think everybody who, if you're trying to set a financial goal, hey, I want to save 10,000. Hey, I want to save 20. Hey, I want to increase my net worth to 50,000. You need to have a visual on that, so you can track your spending, set goals in there, know how much money and where your money is going at all times in real time. That's how you reach your goals.
Okay, and last question, man. Do you feel safer in the United States or Brazil?
The obvious answer is the United States in overall in totality, because I'm more familiar with the United States. But I had a dude pull a gun on me on the highway. You know what I'm saying? On some road rage stuff. So yeah, there's definitely some craziness going on. But if you know how to move into Brazil, taking exercise and some precautions, you'll be fine.
One more question, man. Do you see this passport bros? I call it ideology, which is more as a mindset than a movement. But do you see it growing or kind of like fading out?
I think with remote work going away, number one. So a lot of guys who were passport bros was working remote or wanted to work remote. If you can work remote, an AI agent can probably do your job. You know what I'm saying? So, I think a lot of online jobs are going to go away. I think this pool of quote unquote passport bros is going to get smaller as people lose their jobs and people try to figure out how to transition to something different. So, I think there's just going to be less people going forward.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Less people in general. A lot of people just gonna have to suck it up in the States, I think, or take trips, but not really being anything like, you know, just anything substantial. Because we didn't talk about my Patreon getting blown up, did we?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
All
so
right.
you had like a really big Patreon. A lot of your guys from the YouTube just go over there and get sound financial advice and Exactly where to go, exactly in Brazil as well, in other countries.
So
So what happened with the Patreon?
I had 2,000 people in my Patreon. I was making $10,000, $12,000 a month on Patreon. Okay. Get an email from Patreon, and they said, "Hey, we shutting your black ass down." That's what they said. I literally got the email. It's a shutdown, right? And first thing I did was panic. Okay. First 24, 40 hours. I don't even know if I told you. I told Lightbringer though. I was like, man, they just shut my Patreon down. Shut down completely. And the reason why they shut it down is because they didn't like what questions I was asking in there to my audience and the resource material that I was sharing with the URL. They didn't like that. So they said, hey, Skylar, you can appeal, but we're going to shut you down. You can come back in 2 months, but we need you to give us some guidelines on how you're going to be better and you're not going to violate our rules. That's what they said. So I was in panic mode. Lost some sleep because $10,000, $12,000 is a lot of money. Even when you do make a lot of money, you're still thinking like it's embarrassment, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody's messaging you on Instagram. What happened to your Patreon, man? Did it disappear? What's going on? Everybody's asking me what's going on. Chickens with their head chopped off. So I sat down and I was thinking. I'm like, well, I can wait 2 months and give them a little letter on what my plans are to be a good boy. I can go to locals.com. I can go to onlyfans.com. But shout out to my Discord developer. I'm sorry, not my Discord, but one of my moderators in Discord. He sent me a message, said, hey, Skylar, because we was having an issue with my Discord. There was a security issue that people wasn't gaining access. We got on the phone and he's like, yo, Skylar, you have all of the clout, you have all of the subscribers, you can create your own.
Facts.
You don't need, when you really think about it, you really don't need Patreon. Because I'm thinking in my mindset, I need these people. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking to myself, he said, I already created mine. You probably know him. We'll talk about it. I don't. His name begins with an M, I think. Mm-hmm. He's like, I created my website, my personal website, where I get subscribers and stuff like that, do live streams and stuff. You can do it too. And I'm like, damn, that's right. So I contacted my web developer, the lady who makes my website, and I said, hey, I need a Patreon-like website. It doesn't need to have all the features, but just the core functionality, and it needs to look similar. And we're gonna add our own spin to it. And she was like, she freaked out because it's very complicated. And I said, look, I got a war chest. This is another thing too. I don't talk about finances a lot, but I had $150,000 in cash for an emergency, in case I needed to leave Brazil on some shit, in case aliens come and I need to duck out somewhere or whatever the case is. $150,000 in cash for an emergency. That's not mutual funds, that's not investments, just cash. So I said, all right, I'm gonna break the piggy bank. I told her, I said, look, I don't care who you gotta hire, what we gotta do. I need a Patreon-like website, something similar. I said, and she started on it. She created a website, created an account on Patreon, looked at the features, hired another guy. Long story short, less than 2 months, it was already done. I said, look, I'm going to Japan with Rashawn. The website needs to be done before we go, because there's no point in traveling if you can't show what you really want to show. You know what I mean? So she executed flawlessly on that. And now I can't, now understanding how it goes and understanding that Patreon takes 8%, Stripe and PayPal take 3%. What are we doing?
But what I was told that they was being forced to because of their payment processor to clean
I
it up.
respect it.
Yeah.
I didn't argue with them. I didn't get angry with them. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Because they have a boss they got to follow. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't have Stripe payout, probably because of that. But they got Payoneer and other stuff, right? PayPal. So I get it. So, long story short, created my own website, have a crazy amount of people in Discord, and the website is on track to pretty much be the same amount of money per month as Patreon was. Just that quick. Which tells me something BMT said, hey, people don't really care about Patreon. They're there for you. They're not Patreon.
Facts.
So having a dedicated group of guys that will really follow you anywhere, that will really back anything you do, I'm very grateful for that. I really don't care that I got 85,000 subscribers, 89, whatever it is. Honestly, I only need 2,000 real ones. That's the math that I've done. I need 2,000 real ass niggas, and that's it. I don't need everybody else. Straight up. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's that.
We have a problem with and on black women as a reason to go over to take advantage of women who are not financially stable. You go over here to find somebody who's going to treat you like a king.
Download now on the App Store and Google Play.